With over 1 million units sold and a 36-year production run, I would argue that the Mazda Miata is the most successful sports car ever. How have they managed that? Keep it light and keep it simple. So today we're having a look at the 2025 Mazda Miata RF, because when Mazda asks you if you want to review a Miata, you say yes, because it's the best way to guarantee you have a good week. And also, we want to see which one of these Miatas you might want to get, because the Miata is one of the few cars where you might be cross-shopping models that are 30 years apart. So let's see what makes the Mazda Miata, no matter the generation, the most fun you can have driving a car. But it's not so much fun if you need to replace the cabin air filter. We're doing repairability now in reviews. It's gonna be horrible. Oh my God, we did all of that. The Miata formula is simple. Put an engine in the front that drives the wheels at the back, keep the weight low, and keep that weight distribution as close to 50-50 as possible. If the formula is so simple though, how come no one else has been able to copy it? Well, that's because the Miata has its own bespoke platform. The vast majority of convertibles start their life as a sedan, and then they have the top chopped off of it, and it is turned into a convertible by adding a bunch of weight and strengthening along the bottom. For instance, my Z3 started its life as an E36, and as a result, it is 400 pounds heavier than this one. With the fancy roof, it is 600 pounds heavier than that one. In the last 36 years, the Miata has barely grown. This one is 2 inches wider, but it's actually 1.5 inches shorter and only 7% heavier. As a point of comparison, the Golf GTI has had an 80% increase in weight since its first gen. Now, even though the new Miata is 2 inches wider, on the inside, it actually feels much tighter. See, the ND Miata, that's the new one that we have right here, has this annoying thing called safety. I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically the doors are much thicker so that if you get T-boned by an SUV, you might not die. In comparison, the old Miata feels so spacious. Now, I didn't measure it. The difference is actually like under 1 inch for the width, but we have a much smaller center console. We have this much airier color in here that I really like. And also we have vibes. One area the Miata has been vastly improved is the engine. In the old one, we have a 1.6 making 116 horsepower, and I have literally fallen downstairs faster than this thing goes forward. Up in the 2025 though, we have a 2-liter Skyactiv G, aka the PE-VPS, and this thing now makes 181 horsepower, giving us a 0 to 60 of 5.5 seconds, which is shockingly rapid for one of these. Back to that point about the Miata being its own bespoke platform, what have Mazda done with that flexibility to make this so excellent? One of those unique things that Mazda has done since the inception of the Miata is the power plant frame, or PPF. This is this great big aluminum lattice that is right here that connects to the transmission in the front and the differential in the back, and that allows them to almost entirely eliminate driveline lash without adding extra weight. Down here we also see some chassis bracing, something that we're going to add to Andy's Miata very soon. Get subscribed. And also this very nice spray insulation. On a lot of cars you might have a couple of layers of insulation or they're kind of stepped out. Here it's just sprayed on, which is not only good for rust and good for sound, but it's a Miata, so of course it's really good for weight. One final thing while we're down here, we can see the catalytic converter that is absolutely terrible for the passenger's legroom. I really want to take this thing for a drive, but before that, there's 2 things we need to look at. First, the trunk, the button to open it's down here. It's kind of annoying to find, and there's more space in there than you might expect, but the hole to get stuff in is kind of small, so you might have a little bit of trouble jamming it in. Also, the color of this is jet black mica, which has to be one of the most metallic blacks I have ever seen, compared to Andy's Miata, which is brilliant black, aka brilliant at showing every single piece of dust that lands on it, because there is no metallic in here. Oh wow, we washed this like 2 hours ago and it's already freaking brutal. All right, me and Andy are lined up for a race here. Let's see who's able to go faster in 3, 2, 1. Whose roof's able to go down faster? Oh, the RF is so slow. But that said, It is so swaggy having the car just do it for you.
Too slow. Let's go.
Technically, you can be moving in the RF and do the roof, but you have to be under 10 kilometers an hour.
A random RF just trying to do the convertible on the street. Whoever following him will not have a good time.
I did it, and now it's pretty claustrophobic in here. At 6 feet, I technically fit, but if I'm wearing a hat, it does touch the roof. Take that off and I have maybe a finger or two. Why am I driving a Miata with the roof up though? That is so much better. But with the RF, you don't quite get, yeah, I'm going really slow.
What are you doing? Unbelievable.
What a hunk of junk. Once you're going a bit faster though, the RF is awesome. You can go up to like 120 kilometers per hour and the wind noise and buffeting is completely fine. In a traditional soft top, you cannot do that in the slightest. Now there is a little bit more wind noise in this when you put the windows down at slow speed compared to other convertibles, but you have such nice isolation here, even when you're going fast. This is a rare convertible where you can do up your hair, have it be all fancy, and not worry about buffeting when you go faster. All right, enough talking about convertible tops and stuff. We're gonna actually race these Miatas to see which one of these is faster. Unfortunately, that's easy to do on public roads because they're so freaking slow.
All right, here we go. Oh my God, it's leading, it's getting away.
Turns out that a 0 to 60 of 5.7 seconds is incredible in a car like this. After driving so many nuggets like Andy's Miata and my Z3, this thing feels like an absolute rocket ship. That said though, you need to really string out this engine. It has a red line of 7,500 RPM, and you want to be getting pretty close to that because it only has 150 and change pound-feet of torque. So down low, like I'm at 3,000 RPM right now, it's not doing a whole lot. But if we downshift again, there we go. It loves to get strung out so much. The engine in this is a blast.
One thing we can confirm, the gap is huge, but what about corner?
These are some of my favorite corners right here. Oh, this car is such a blast.
Even with my shitty shocks in the back, I can still really push the car into the corner.
The rear end likes to get a bit playful, but you never have to be concerned because it's just so communicative.
One amazing thing that all the Miata have is the double wishbone suspension. They're great, and they're great for cornering.
And the 50-50 weight distribution's even better in the RF. This one right here has 51-49, whereas the soft top Miata has a unbearable 53-47. I would take that marginally worse weight distribution though, because this adds an extra 94 pounds in the back of the car. Soft top is definitely the way to go, but the RF is still an excellent time. What also makes this car incredible in the corners is the new two-way limited slip differential. It provides more locking under braking to keep your car nice and straightforward. You don't turn too much, but then it has less locking on corner exit so that you can turn in more and really rip through the corners. It also has what Mazda calls their kinematic posture control, which uses the inside brakes to dip you even more into the corners, but you can just fully disable that.
That was some great corner. I can really catch up, but not on the straight line.
I don't know, it sure looks like you're getting left behind in the corner too.
How squeaky is your door?
I've not had a single squeak from my door. What do you mean?
My door just squeaked non-stop. Oh my God. Ow.
On this road, my car is not having a problem despite them just ruining the road every single time they put in another 1,000 townhouses.
My car feels like spaghetti.
Even though I'm driving down a pretty bumpy road right now, it has not mattered in the slightest. The seats are really, really comfortable.
My chassis rigidity is super bad.
Yeah, the chassis rigidity of this one wins by a landslide.
After we've done some cornering and talk about the chassis rigidity, now it's time to talk about tech, which I don't really have any. I have no AC, I have no cruise control, nothing.
For technology, it's pretty bare bones in here. You have an 8.8-inch touchscreen, but because of the aspect ratio, it's pretty small even for that size. I do appreciate though that Mazda isn't trying to overwhelm you with technology in this car. We have climate dials. That's all they are. We have an analog speedometer and a tach that's right in the center. I also do have a little digital display that tells a tiny bit of information. In this one, I don't even have wireless Android Auto or CarPlay. I just haven't even been using that on my phone. It's been totally fine. Don't turn on your notifications, turn them off. Just drive. Okay, let's give the sound system a sniff. In here, we have a 9-speaker sound system. There's speakers in the headrest, speakers in the doors, speakers on the A-pillars, and also a sub down in the floor, and it sounds pretty damn good. Now, there is crazy amounts of bass once you close the top. I don't think that it's tuned for having that enclosed, but once you have the top down, it sounds really freaking good. Another thing that makes this car just such an absolute blast is the 6-speed manual transmission. The shifts are so crisp, they are so short, and the engagement feels incredibly good. Now, they do have an automatic as an option. If you have 2 functioning legs though, get the 6-speed, learn how to drive manual on it. One thing that is fun about the automatic though is the differential has a shorter final drive ratio. So if you wanted to plop one of those into this car with the manual, it would probably be an absolute blast with super short gearing. Oh, and also, this is an incredibly easy car to heel toe in. Most modern cars, it's super difficult because they have the brake and the gas pedal super far away. Maybe you need to get a spacer, or the brakes are just so spongy, and like my Golf, you have no feel at all, whereas Mazda have tuned this to perfection. Same goes for the steering. It's electronic, doesn't matter, it is tuned, it is great. I love this car.
Yo, Alex, your car is faster on every aspect, but do you have a pedal that can pop up and down?
No, I guess I just got completely wrecked. It doesn't even matter.
That's a win for me.
Another benefit of the Miata is the massive aftermarket support. Whether you want to make a drift build or a track car or a dedicated off-roader, people have already done it. They have done the hard work, and it's so easy to work on these cars for the most part. Let's look at repairability. 9 12mm bolts later, we can see that we have our oil drain plug right there and our oil filter right there. We also have a steel oil pan, which I really like to see because my Golf has a stupid plastic one because VW are idiots. The engine oil goes in right here. It's 0W20, and to access your engine air filter, it's just simply 2 clips right here, and boom, there she is. As for the cabin air filter, you just simply open up the glove box. There's no glove box. Well, step number 1 is to just simply pull on the A-pillar trim, just like that. I didn't break any clips. Then you pull up on this trim that goes under the door. This other piece of trim. Now we need to pop out this little plastic rivet right here. After popping that rivet, this whole piece will come off. Using a 10mm, undo this bolt. And now for the super scary part. We have to remove this entire lower dash panel very gently. Mazda can't actually get mad if we don't damage anything, right? Perfect, not a single clip damaged. For the next step, I'm going to undo the battery. That way we just don't have to worry about anything going terribly wrong. Now we have to undo like 4 electrical connectors. Like that. Not super easy to see up in here. Oh my God, we did all of that. Look at this, it's just a stupid screen. You also don't have a roof, so you don't have a whole lot of isolation for the elements anyway. We really should have looked up that there's basically no cabin air filter before we went to all this trouble. The tutorial that I saw to get in there, they put in an actual one, so that's an option if you want. But Mazda Canada, please be happy with us. As for Andy's NA, it's changed, because there isn't one. It's all back together, and now we just have to give it a really nice clean, because much like getting drunk at your parents' house in high school, they can only get so mad if you return it in better condition. So the Mazda Miata, should you get one? Absolutely. These guys, they are fantastic. Would I personally go for the RF version of the Miata? No, I'd get the soft top, but this is still very good. I just don't physically fit. That said though, for $45,000, this is an absolutely awesome car. And if you don't have that kind of money, this one was $8,000, which is much more reasonable. And if you still don't have that kind of money, I don't know, maybe you can find a beat up NB for even less than that. I absolutely love both of these cars. And I'd also love it if you hit like, get subscribed, and of course, have a great old day. Our Patreon is the single best way to support this channel, so maybe subscribe to that if you want to see more videos like this.